I'm Nick Seco from HomeRight Windows and Doors, and we're located in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. So we do vinyl replacement windows, we do steel and fiberglass entry doors, we do aluminum storm doors, and we do sliding patio doors, all made by Provia. The windows are a vinyl replacement window, and it could be anything from double hungs to casements to bay and bow windows and everything in between. So when somebody calls in the office and needs an estimate, they get Roxanne on the phone typically, and she would schedule an appointment for me to come out and take some measurements, provide some literature, go through what options we have, and then I would follow up within about 24 to 48 hours with an estimate with all the details of the products as well as the installed price. I find that we're typically much more affordable than the companies that you see advertising on TV or in a lot of other places. If they're spending a lot of advertising dollars, obviously they're passing those costs on to their consumers. You could go to our website at homerightwaynesboro.com, or you could call us at 717-749-4874.
Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk TriState.
Welcome to Let's Talk TriState, all powered by HomeRight Windows and Doors in Waynesboro, the right choice, online, homerightwaynesboro.com. One of my favorite of our clients to interview, I'm so happy I get to do this once again, is my bank, Patriot Federal Credit Union. We have Renee Preso and Matt Ellis with us. How are you both doing today?
Good morning.
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. It's great to be here. I always love talking to representatives from Patriot. Like I said, it is my bank. It's been my bank for going on 30 years now, so I wouldn't have it any other way. So awesome. That's always my ringing endorsement that I'm allowed to do because it's the truth.
That's right.
So there we are. There are a lot of great things, as always, going on in the world of Patriot Federal Credit Union.
Absolutely.
And I think the first thing that we should talk about is you're expanding. So Renee, you have some builds that are coming around the tri-state area. This is Let's Talk Tri-State, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Where are we going to be able to find Patriot where we haven't previously found Patriot?
Okay, well, you know, as some other institutions are maybe downsizing or not having the presence, Patriot is doing the exact opposite, and we are currently building 2 brand new builds, Spring Mills, West Virginia, and that'll be open in the September timeframe in the fall, as well as Greencastle right here in the hometown where we are. So Greencastle will be up and running again about a month after. So both in fall of 2025.
So Matt, now let's go to you. Patriot has always focused on the strong personal connections. Now, what sets Patriot's approach, and I know this may seem to those who've watched Let's Talk Tri-State for any length of time, they have heard this about Patriot, but I want to hear it from you because we haven't yet. What is it that sets Patriot apart? What is it that you hear that people say, you know what, that's why I bank with Patriot? Because I could go on for a year as to why I bank with Patriot. What do you hear?
Well, I think the big thing is that people really appreciate and welcome the member engagement. And that's such a huge focus for us. In fact, it's so important that we create those moments that matter, that people leave from their experience within the branches feeling as if that's their most excellent moment of the day. Because all the things that we do day in and day out, all of our routines, all of our responsibilities, if they can come into an environment where they are welcomed, where they are greeted, where they are called by name, that they are thanked, and that expression of gratitude is something that is noticeable, then they leave thinking that, you know what, that's the most excellent experience that I've had today. So that's a real big priority, a big focus for us. It's something that within our teams we talk about all the time. It's front and center. It's probably something that we don't end the day without that point of reflection and that priority focus where we're very intentional with skilling up, teaching our team, coaching our teams to really have that great member engagement.
I think too is that people like to feel that they've been heard. And whether that's positive, negative, everything in between, people want to know. I mean, look, they're coming into a physical building. This day and age, as Renee said, there are fewer and farther between where you can physically step foot inside of an institution. You guys are offering more opportunities for that, more places. You're not closing, you're building. And when people are making it a point to physically show up at your location, they want to be heard. And to your point, Matt, about I'm so glad you said it, because it is true. Anytime I have visited my Patriot location, which I use the Waynesboro branch, I can't tell you that when I'm in line, how many times I hear the assistants behind the counter will call that person by their first name. They will know them.
Yep.
Oh, hey, John, how you doing? It's been a long time. How are the kids? And it really, to me, harkens back to what I perceive banking would have been 50, 60 years ago. It was that neighborhood feeling. And I'm so glad that you say that you guys make it a point to emphasize that.
We do. And one of the things that we're doing to elevate that is right from the very point of entry, we have intentionally, purposefully placed what we call lobby leaders.
Okay.
And so you deserve that kind of attention. You deserve that personal approach. So when you walk into a branch for the first time, for the 100th time, the first year, the 25th year, we want somebody to be able to greet you, somebody to introduce themselves, and also to ask, hey, what brings you in today? Because we know that your time is valuable. We want to make sure that we put you in the front of the person that's going to address the need that you come in with, and so that we can, manage that situation and really elevate that experience for you.
I often say, Renee, I'm sure you can empathize with this as well. When I go to a doctor's office, I feel like I'm having to explain the same thing to 4 different people before I get to the doctor.
Absolutely.
And I'm just like, well, okay, my arm hurts. I told the person before, my arm hurts. Okay, well, that guy told the person before. And each one of them, they make it a point to say, well, why are you here today? And time is valuable.
Absolutely.
Everyone's time is valuable.
Yeah.
So I love that Matt says that we don't need you to tell 5 different people.
Right.
Tell this person, you said lobby leader?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Tell this person and we're good, right? I'm sure you've had to
Absolutely.
repeat yourself. It's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is annoying, and we want to be very intentional when somebody comes in so that we can uncover what brought them in and then how can we help them.
Exactly, absolutely. And speaking of that, with the fact that you're expanding with Patriot, and as you just said, 2 more locations, how can you ensure that level of service that you've been able to accomplish at all your branches now, we often hear of, well, they did too much. XYZ company had too many places and they became diluted. How are you hedging against that happening at Patriot? What steps are you taking to make sure that the level of service that I get in Waynesboro, that I can get in Greencastle if I walk through that door?
That is a great question. So we do a lot of intentional training. We do huddles on a daily basis so that our teams are prepared. We talk about certain operations or products and services. And then we're very intentional about our members and the surveys that we allow them to take after they've been in. And so we look at every single one of those surveys when they come back. And our managers make outbound calls for positive and maybe a survey that wasn't so positive. And we try to unpack, what can we do differently? Is this something that's a larger scope that we need to dive into? And so every moment matters with Patriot. And by reviewing those surveys and allowing our members to take those surveys, it really gives us an oversight of how can we do better with our training and what can we do to help elevate our teams. And we do that in every single branch.
And I think what you're also saying is that just as you are physically growing the company, you are also open to growing each day with each interaction. That's
Absolutely.
An opportunity to grow.
Absolutely.
And I always say, I'm not going to get it right 100% of the time, but my focus is on the 1% of the time that I don't.
Right.
What can I learn from that? And I love that. To me, it speaks of integrity that is within the company walls that say, you know what, we can make mistakes too, but it's how do we fix them, and that we fix them. You're not a number. We don't just shuffle you out the door and say, okay, thank you very much, Mr. Smith. We'll see you in a week.
Right.
Well, and I think, for us, it's earning the right to do business. And the way that we do that and create that consistency across our retail network, so that if you would walk into the Waynesboro branch or the Gateway branch or the Lincoln Way East branch, it's all kind of similar. And that's a big climb for us, but it's so important that we've devoted a ton of resources to make sure that we have that consistency. So when you walk in and you have that greeting, and then you sit in front of one of our membership officers, we're asking the right questions because you have your perceived idea of what you need, but we really want to uncover that. We want to unpack that by asking specific discovery questions to learn more about, hey, what brings you in today? Clearly there's that expectation, but more than that, what are your dreams? What are your goals? What are your needs financially? Yep. And then for us to provide solutions. We're not pushing products, but we're providing solutions. And that feels different. That's another thing that sets us apart, because we really want to have that, hey, we're consultants, we are advisors. We want to give you the solutions that are personal to you, that are relevant to you, and they're actionable, so that when you leave, you're like, yeah, this kind of makes sense. This puts me on a completely different trajectory to meet those goals and those dreams that I didn't maybe think I had the ability to do, or the financial resources to do, but we're providing that for you. So that's all part of that service standard, the consistency that Renee was talking about, and how vital it is for us to have that experience for our members.
I could not agree more. And you covered a lot of this. A lot of what was going to be my final question for you, Matt. But I want to do this, though. If you talk to me as if I am not already a card-carrying member of Patriot Federal Credit Union. And I want you to give me a few points as to why I should either choose Patriot as my first bank or change to Patriot.
Well, I think some of the things that we've just talked about, the moments that matter, the excellent experience that we want to share with you when you come in, how open we are to hearing your voice in a survey, to respond to that, to make sure that what you are communicating to us gets addressed, that approach that we are taking, recognizing that, we are obviously, as every financial institution is, we're growing our technology so that you can do banking anytime at your convenience, but at the same time, we don't ever want to lose that relational aspect. We call them touch points. We want to be able to have that experience with you in that branch. So if you're new or you're thinking about changing financial institutions, you can get started anyway. You can do it online. You can do it in person, through an app. I mean, all those are tools that you have to be able to do banking anytime at your convenience that makes sense for you.
And I think, too, is that the fact that you are expanding, it really speaks to, you recognize that your clients, your customers, the Patriot members, they want that.
Absolutely.
If the Patriot members did not want, if there wasn't a need, a business will never do something for which there's not a need.
Correct.
If you don't need more branches, you're not going to open more branches. As a matter of fact, just as a lot of financial institutions are doing, it's the downsizing. Why? Because I guess they have found that their members, their customers, their clients, they don't need that physical interaction. But Patriot members have grown. That goes to show you how much they enjoy it and how much it means that they continue to step foot in the physical locations.
Yes.
And I think that's a very important distinction to make, Renee. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, we have members that they do their digital banking, and that's great. But when they have a need, they want to come in and they want to meet with a membership officer to talk about their financial journey. And we want to be there to be a part of that for them.
That's right. When my daughter is old enough to have her first account, I'm going to do what my dad did for me. I'm going to walk her into Patriot Federal Credit Union, let her see physically, let her be handed the checks and put her name to it. There's something very, I would say nostalgic, but there's that physical ownership of it. Right?
That's right.
I'm a person, honey. Here are your Patriot representatives. This is your bank. This is your community, your banking family. You are theirs. They are yours. So, use them to the best of their abilities. And my goodness, it's a team that you just can't beat when you can physically get in front of those who can make the decisions.
Yeah, bring them in early. We like to start out get that savings program started for them and
Absolutely.
make it exciting for them to want to come in.
What is I was 16. Is that still the case that you can have? Is there an account that is offered an early savers type program?
Yeah, there's a savings that they can start much earlier.
Oh, even
Yeah.
well, there you go.
Yep,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Well, Matt, Renee, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes,
Let's
thank
Talk
you,
Tri-State. Always a pleasure to have our friends from Patriot come along for the ride here, and we want to have you back, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more from you in a few weeks, okay?
Great.
Great.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
And as always, we thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Tri-State.
Let's talk Tri-State.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.